A lot of times, people who live in gated communities have a false sense of security.
You live in this big, beautiful house because you think you're in a very safe environment.
I don't know, there's a murder, I think. Her hands are tied.
Her hands are tied?
It was definitely some kind of passionate crime.
Are you saying that I did it?
Yeah.
Holy crap! Oh my... No, I did. I would never.
Poor lady was sleeping in her home and was awoken to this monster breaking into her home.
Deontay Rezilis is a prolific burglar. Somehow he got a handcuff key.
He just ran by everybody, out the front door and down the back stairway.
It was just so astonishing. It was just the kind of thing that couldn't possibly happen until it was happening right in front of you.
Your wife is in a bar. You said she's unresponsive.
This is what he's going to tell you.
How to get out of that situation.
And I grabbed the gun.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir. The only thing they could do was kill him.
You want to say anything? We, the jury, and to find the defendant.
The Westridge development in Davie, Florida, was home to some 60 families, including the Sioux family.
A group of lovely people, very close to each other, parents that were very involved in their children's lives, a father who is, a very high-achieving scientist. They are financially very well off. She is a member of the Halliburton family. There was a division of property rights, mineral rights, and as a member of the Halliburton family, she ended up with some of those rights.
Their son Justin was living at home.
He had just turned 20, not doing as well as his dad had hoped in college, and he flunked out. So yeah, there was some tension, the kind of tension that happens when you have a loving father who expects a lot from his son. And a son who is, embarrassed and ashamed of the fact that he wasn't able to live up to his family's expectations.
What is your emergency?
Mom! My mom killed herself.
Okay.
I did in the bathtub. I will.
What is your name?
My name?
Yes.
Justin Sue. Oh my God, my mom.
Okay, stay on the phone with me, Justin. Are you with her right now?
Yes, I just pulled her out of the bathtub. She cut herself. She looks so cut up. She just stabbed herself and threw herself in the bathtub. I found her drowning.
Breathing?
No, she's not. I tried
breathing?
She's not.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Where did she cut it?
She's cut all over herself, like on her neck.
Recording of the phone call is very difficult to listen to. And you see the progression, which takes all of about a minute, from him saying, my mom killed herself, to then saying, wait, she's tied up.
I don't know. I don't know, there's a murder, I think. Her hands are tied.
Her hands are tied? When did you find her?
I'm so scared right now.
Okay.
And everything, there's a lot, oh my God. Oh yeah. I hope her house isn't rummaged through. Yeah, I don't think anyone's here, but maybe they left already, but someone...
No one else is there?
Yeah, no, she didn't commit suicide. I'm sorry I said that. I just thought I was good, but someone killed her. Someone killed my mom. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Homicide detective Paul Williams was assigned to the case.
Myself and the crime scene investigator, we walked into the garage and through a single entry door into the home. It was a pretty gruesome scene. Probably one of the most horrific scenes that I've investigated in my time. She's bound together at her hands and at her feet, lying on the bathroom floor with multiple stab wounds about her body. It was definitely some kind of passionate crime, or what I figured somebody close to her had an issue with her, or basically a heated fight or altercation had occurred for the victim to get that many stab wounds.
So her son Justin was brought to police headquarters for questioning, asked for a DNA sample, and given a white jumpsuit after his clothes were taken for evidence.
So that was my decision. You start off looking always at the person who discovered the victim and the people who were closest to or had the most to gain.
No! No! Please let me out of here!
Obviously very shooken up in the interview room at first.
Who would have done this, man?
Man, I really want to tell you. I really don't know. I honestly think this is just a random... I think these people have been looking at my house for a while, for the last probably 2 weeks, noticed all these cars, always had the cars out front.
He immediately denied it and basically told us we're wasting our time, we need to go find the real killer.
Justin's father, Dr. Nan Yao-Su, was in an interrogation room down the hall.
Obviously, I know as you're sitting here, you can hear your son crying, and I know that hurts. But just understand that, we have to follow procedure here.
Dr. Su told detectives he was at his office when he saw an image on a surveillance camera from the dining room that suddenly went blank. It had been ripped out of the wall.
Could you tell if it was a male or female?
I think it's a male.
Okay.
Rather skinny.
Okay. How old did this male look?
20-ish.
Can you tell white male, black male, or?
Looks like a white to me.
Okay.
Dr. Su said after he saw the video, he called his son Justin at work to go home and check it out.
Where was your son today when he left the house? Let me ask you that. Where was he supposed to be?
He's supposed to go to work.
He didn't go to work. And you realize what you thought you saw on that camera beforehand is sort of a pretty close description to your son.
Yeah.
And not only that, but could it have been Justin, because Justin was inside the house and knew where these cameras were.
As other detectives scoured the crime scene for clues, they found a knife outside the front door that they later learned belonged to Justin. And while the house appeared to have been ransacked, detectives reported that nothing seemed to be missing.
So those were all kind of things that my partner and I were recording in the back of our head that we need to address.
What the f*** are you screaming for?
Dude, I can't be...
down,
man, I've been in this room way too long, man.
Yeah. Okay, listen. A lot of the stuff that we talked about earlier, the stuff you told us, doesn't make sense.
What do you mean? Are you saying that I did it?
Yeah.
Holy crap! Oh my... No, I did. I would never do that, dude. Oh my god!
Oh my god, what? What's so hard to believe?
That I did that? That I would break into my own...
Nobody broke into that house. Stop playing this game.
Oh my god, are you serious?
You know how long we've been doing this job? A long time.
That's horrible that you guys would even think that I would do it. I'm sorry, but
You're sorry.
I'm gonna go...
No, you're not gonna go nowhere.
Dude!
Yeah.
I didn't do it! Oh my god! You think... Dude, listen to me on the...
Yeah, it's all bull. Your whole bullshit was a stupid plan, and you did a job at the house. So you want to start coming clean? This is your only opportunity.
Oh my god.
You understand?
Your dad?
What? What did I say to my dad? I lied to my dad. I told him I was going to work.
No, inconsistency between your statement and your dad.
What am I... What?
Relax.
Hey, we just want to know why, bro.
Oh my god, I didn't do it!
I just want to know why, that's all.
I didn't do it! I didn't murder my own
You keep saying that over and over again, and it ain't gonna go anywhere. I'm telling you, just why did you do it, that's all. And do you even feel bad that it happened? That's all. That's all I want to know.
Detectives went next door to tell Justin's father, Dr. Su, his son was now considered a suspect.
But since my son is still my son, I would accept the truth that he did it, but before that, we need to make sure that everything is done fairly.
Okay, and you just said that if he did it, you would accept it? Is that what you said?
If the total truth come out that he did it, I totally accept that.
Okay.
I'm a scientist, I go with the truth.
And detectives were confident the truth would be found in the DNA on the knife at the murder scene.
Dude, you guys got the wrong person, man. I didn't do it.
The police had that young man detained in an interview room for 13 hours, filming constantly, coming in and out of the interview room. So they focused in on him.
You came in here thinking you were gonna tell us that it was a robbery and that they were looking at your house for 2 weeks and all this shit. Guess what? We can sift through bullshit real fast. Okay, that's something.
All those things are true. All those things I said were true.
No.
And
How do you know somebody was casing your house for 2 weeks?
I don't know, because...
You're just giving us ideas. You know why? Because you're the one responsible.
No,
So stop with the bullshit.
Oh my God, no, I'm sorry. I'm trying to help you. I didn't
It's not
know.
helping us. Guess what? We know what help is and we know what it looks like. We know what bullshit is and we know what it looks like. So stop. Stop, bro.
I'm not bullshitting you, officers. I swear on my life.
It was now after 3 in the morning and still no confession.
They didn't have grounds to hold him.
Come on.
And then they eventually had to release both men, and then the investigation continued.
They process any items that could potentially have DNA on them of evidentiary value.
One was a knife that was at the front door, outside of the front door of the home, and a belt that was used to tie the victim's hands up. About a week later, we got what we call a preliminary hit or identification.
It was not a match with Justin Sue, and he was cleared as a suspect as he had repeatedly predicted.
When you guys find out you're wrong, I hope you come and say sorry to me, man, or something. Because this is a horrible... No, this is a horrible...
If I found out I was wrong, I'd seriously consider a career change.
I don't feel guilty for the reason or the ways that we went after him pretty hard. But at that time, our job is not to worry about feelings. And our job is to go about and to do the job for the victim who can't speak. I wouldn't have changed the way I did. Or my partner feels the same way too. We wouldn't have changed it.
But the DNA did lead them to another suspect.
We're learning new details tonight about the man arrested for the murder of his South Florida mother.
A 19-year-old Haitian American by the name of Deontay Rezilis.
We knew Deontay Rezilis was the person whose DNA came up on the pocket knife and the loop belt ends that were used to tie up the victim.
Deontay Rezilis is a prolific burglar, and he had over 24 burglaries.
This house seemed to very much match houses that he had burglarized in the past.
He always gains access into the homes through a rear, either window or glass door, and commits his burglaries sometime during the day where he expects the homes to be empty.
When he was inside the home, he encountered Miss Sue. The poor lady was sleeping in her home and was awoken to this monster breaking into her home. I think she put up one hell of a fight, tried to get away several times, which is why he felt the need to have to tie her up, bound her, and stab her and take off. He did not want to leave an eyewitness. With the assistance of some cell phone tracking, the detectives made contact with him and took him into custody without incident. I explained to him that I had a warrant for him for murder.
You're going to be charged with first-degree murder. First-degree murder, okay?
What am I being charged with first-degree murder for?
Can't talk to you.
Prosecution was going to seek the death penalty, and the court assigned H. Don Williams, who specializes in such cases as Rezilis' lawyer.
In the beginning, the case I thought was a very defensible case. Mr. Sue, he initially said he saw a white guy.
Male, black male, or
looks like a white to me.
Okay.
Mr. Rezilis' background, he had other burglary cases, and there was never any hint of violence.
And Rezilis' friends and family, who know him as Moochie, quickly came to his defense.
That's not a crime that he would have committed. And I stand on that. I put my life on that. I know he didn't.
Even paying for a billboard across the street from the Broward County Sheriff's Office.
It actually juxtaposed a picture of Jill Sue with a picture of Deontay Rezilis as if both of them are victims of this crime.
For 2 years, the case against Deontay Rezilis slowly moved through the court system in a series of procedural hearings.
This was, for lack of a better term, a murder case like many other murder cases. And this was not going to be a case where we were going to go gavel to gavel until the suspect decided that we were.
We're on top of breaking news. An accused killer escaping from the Broward County Courthouse more than 8 hours ago.
An army of police descend on a locked-down Broward County Courthouse.
Deontay Rezilis was on the run.
It was just so astonishing. It was just the kind of thing that couldn't possibly happen until it was happening right in front of you. So now there's a killer on the loose. And everybody wants to know everything there is to know about Deontay Rezilis.
We're now seeing new video of the chaos in a Broward courtroom when a murder suspect managed to slip out of his shackles and escape.
Somehow he got a handcuff key. And he had a jail jumpsuit over clothes that was way too large for him so that he could remove it very quickly. He had people in the courtroom who gave him the signal of when the vehicle that was to pick him up was in the back.
He just ran by everybody, out the front door and down the back stairway. Something right out of a television movie.
The Broward County Sheriff says 21-year-old Deontay Rezilis is still missing.
Police say he took off in a getaway car with the help of several accomplices.
Huge story, huge manhunt all over the county.
We will leave no stone unturned. Everything we can to bring you back into custody safely, quickly, efficiently.
The sheriff was going crazy. I think spent about $1 million in overtime trying to catch him.
It was a black eye. It was hugely embarrassing. It was just so brazen. It was just so astonishing.
The police thought I had something to do with it. You know, where did he get the handcuff key to take off the handcuffs? Well, it must be the lawyer. Like really? Come on, guys.
He had a large following of people. Basically, they called him the Robin Hood of the neighborhood. So there was a lot of people that he had manipulated to follow him and help with his escape from the courthouse all the way through to trying to throw off law enforcement at every level and hide and get away.
In the beginning, they were offering a $10,000 reward. And I said to myself, that's not going to do it. The amount went to $50,000. And I said, now he's going to get caught.
Breaking overnight, the Broward Sheriff's Office announcing the capture of Deontay Rezilis.
A group of deputies surrounded a van that Rezilis was in and was immediately escorted inside.
Well, the motive was he was going to get out and prove his innocence. And all that time, he's gone a week. And he basically got 45 minutes away from the courthouse.
When they get him and they look at his phone, he has not been on the hunt for the real killer. He has not been trying to clear his name. He wasn't doing anything along those lines. He was using his phone to look at porn.
It was a total of 8 people who were charged for participating and aiding and abetting him.
Francine Mesidou was arrested for giving him a wig, color-changing contacts, and clothing.
Moochie, as he was known in the community, had tons of friends. And he's a charismatic guy. That's one thing that we've learned throughout this process. He can talk an Eskimo into buying ice.
And back in custody in the Broward County Jail, Rezilis got another group of friends to help create a defense.
The bottom line is, he's trying to build an alibi that says he's in Georgia at the time that Jill Halliburton Sue is murdered. He's not aware that police are following his every move.
The plot was busted, and yet another group of Rezilis' friends and supporters faced prosecution.
There's a young lady that gets charged in that. She had never met Mr. Rezilis in person. She was an insurance agent, and she gets fascinated by him, and she says, I want to get married, that she wanted to marry him. So she pulled herself right into this case.
This guy convinced, 14 people to commit a crime on his behalf to jeopardize their own freedom because charisma. That's just how charismatic he is. They called it Operation Rico Suave. That's how police felt about this guy's ability to get people to follow him on this path. Operation Rico Suave.
Finally, with enhanced security, Deontay Rezilis is put on trial for the first-degree murder of Jill Sue.
The jury was out a very, very lengthy period of time. They finally come back with a verdict. And the verdict is guilty of manslaughter.
Each juror is asked, is this your real and true verdict? And usually it's one of the most routine things that never results in anything. But of course, in the Deontay Rezilis trial, that process becomes its own drama. Because the very first person is the foreperson, and there is a pause. And no one expects a pause. And you could almost hear her struggling until finally she says, no. No one ever says no. It's always yes, 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 yes.
Never had that happen in 35 years. When that happens, then the verdict is not accepted. The jury sends the jury back and they have to continue deliberating. And they deliberated some more and then came back the next day and they declared themselves to be a hung jury. I had 5 different jurors reach out to me, and all of them said the same thing. They thought he was guilty, and several of those jurors told me that there was one juror in particular who said he was not coming back with a verdict that would send another young black man to prison for life.
The judge declared a mistrial and set a new trial date.
It all starts from scratch, as if the first trial had never happened.
It was a do-over, so you never know what's going to happen when you get a hung jury and a retrial.
Reporters from around the world were there to watch the trial of the man being called an escape artist, the Houdini of Broward County, Deontay Rezilis.
We seem to get cases that attract national attention here. Broward County.
We forget, and we can't, that a woman was brutally murdered. And that if this person is convicted, the state is going to seek to put him to death.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Being here. The basis of this case is that man tried to burglarize the Sue home. Mrs. Sue was stabbed over a dozen times, all throughout her chest and neck. You will see some blurry photographs. I can't talk. You need to see what happened. It was pretty brutal, and it was pretty senseless.
The prosecutor tells the jury it will all turn on improved testing techniques for the DNA found on the knife, the cloth tie, and the smashed glass entry door.
For the new methods, they identify single source, one person's DNA at that point of entry for defendants. And at the end of all of it, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to apply the law to this issue and to reach a verdict that speaks the truth.
Counsel, thank you. This is defense's opportunity to address you. Please give defense counsel the same courtesy and attention you previously displayed to Ms. Schneider. Counsel.
I want to start with the fact that the evidence that you are going to hear in this case is going to leave you with more questions than answers. And the questions are a couple that I want to present to you, which is, did the husband or the son have a role in the death of Jill Sue?
The theory seemed to be that it could have been Justin, or it could have been Dr. Sue, or it could have been Justin and Dr. Sue together at the same time.
When Nanyo talks to the police, he describes the person that he saw in the camera as being white and being skinny. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence in this case is wholly lacking, and I'm confident that after you listen to all the evidence in the case, We will come back with the only lawful verdict, not guilty. Thank you.
Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Given the defense strategy, prosecutors knew they needed Dr. Sue to deal with his statements to the police.
Did the police ask you if it was a black or a white person?
Yes.
What did you say?
They only gave me two choices, black and white. And my correct answer should be, I don't know, because I can't tell. But at the time, I thought I had to give everything I thought, speculation included. So because everything appeared to be white, I said maybe white.
And do you know for sure what color the person was?
No.
The actual video Dr. Sue saw had been erased by the time police learned of its existence.
So that important piece of evidence was never available.
The cross-examination of Dr. Sue was handled by defense lawyer Alari Dominguez.
And you said that that person looked white to you because you thought the person was actually white, correct?
No, I say it appeared to be white because everything dressed is white.
But you didn't, when they asked you, was it a white male or a black male, and your response was that that person looked white to you, correct?
Looks white because it appeared to be whitish.
But you didn't say at any point when they asked you, is it a white male or a black male, you didn't say, I think white because the person is wearing white, right?
No.
When they asked you, is it a white male or a black male, you had absolutely no trouble understanding that question, correct?
No.
It was difficult for them. When does this end? How much more do I have to go through to see justice in this case?
Justin too. He left. That's you.
Please have a seat.
He was very conflicted between hating the defendant and wanting to focus on telling the jury what it is that he saw and experienced. And, you know, that's a difficult thing to do.
The first thing I see is just back of my mom's head, just down in a bathtub that is just full all the way up to the top of just water mixed with blood. And I just start cursing, screaming, what the is what? I broke. Like, there's no other way of putting it. I just broke.
Justin is, you know, unfortunately going to be affected by this for the rest of his life.
Do the police accuse you of killing your mother?
Yes.
How many times?
So many to even count. I don't know.
Did you hurt your mother?
No.
Did you have anything to do with your mother's death?
No.
Thank you, I have nothing.
Thank you. Counsel, is there any cross-examination?
If I'm in a break.
Sure. Mr. Kimmock, this is your opportunity for cross. You may proceed.
The cross-examination of Justin Sue was handled by defense lawyer Joseph Kimmock, who began with the fact that Justin had flunked out of Stetson College.
Would you agree with me that since you left Stetson, and moved back into the house, that overall you felt that that had a negative impact on the family?
Yeah.
You and your parents' lives had gotten worse because of it, correct?
Correct.
You saw your mom cry because of what had happened, correct?
Correct.
You have lied a number of times about where you were between 9:44 and 12:18, correct?
To who?
When you called 911. Am I correct that when you called 911, you told the 911 operator that you were at work?
I don't think it mattered.
isn't it true that even after police detectives accused you of murder, you continued to lie to them about where you were? Told them you were in the lab.
When I was being interrogated, I possibly said that. I was under a lot of stress.
I agree. You were being accused of murdering your mom, and yet you still made the decision to lie to them about where you were. Correct?
Where exactly did I say that?
After the police accused you of murder. Correct?
Possibly, yeah, correct. Again, this is all hearsay. Yeah.
Probably a little more argumentative than I would have wanted. You know, we always warn witnesses, don't get defensive, don't get argumentative. But it's hard when people are accusing you of killing your mother.
Your mom had a will, isn't that correct?
Yeah, yes.
And under the will, there was a scenario in which you would receive $500,000 as a result of your mom's death. Correct?
What? No.
You don't know anything about it?
Yeah, no. Where'd you get that number from?
The will.
Okay.
There's nothing I can do to stop that. It's the right of confrontation.
But prosecutor Maria Schneider used the redirect to give Justin the chance to better explain himself.
What was your state of mind at that point?
Horror and just absolute dread, and probably, I talk about this with psychologists, is when someone sees something like that, they go into the brain shuts down and
there's objection to relevance.
Try to become protective. It's just like, so obviously I know my mind is literally trying to protect itself from the memories of that day.
Justin, did you kill your mom?
Of course not.
When it's a case as serious as this, when somebody's life potentially is on the line, I think jurors, rightfully so, want to have as much sureness as they possibly can, as much certainty as they possibly can. And the fact that, I have no person who can say, yes, he killed her, is always a benefit to the defense.
But the prosecution did have one eyewitness from that day. The neighbor across the street from the Sue home.
I heard a high-pitched, shrieky sound, squealy sound.
What did you look at?
I saw across to the Sue's front door, and they have double doors as well. One of their doors was open partially, and I saw a light-colored image object at the front door, about waist high. And it was going back into the house.
And how sure are you about the time that this was around noon?
Oh, I'm certain that it was around noon.
We know where Justin was at noon because we have him driving out of the garage at Broward College at 12:18, 12:19. And we know that Mrs. Sue was alive around noon.
And Dr. Sue was in his university office at the same time.
We know because he was using his computer. We know for multiple reasons where he was at noon. This is why the neighbor from across the street, Betty Dutko, became such a crucial witness.
Her testimony may have helped to clear Justin Sue and his father, but it did not in any way implicate Deontay Rezilis.
Cool as a cucumber. Laughing, joking, acting like nothing matters.
Deontay Rezilis is clearly a man of supreme confidence. As these proceedings are going forward, he never betrays any look of worry, any look of concern. Looks like he's insulted that all of this is happening. He just looks like, seriously, you think I did this? The family members who showed up sincerely believe that an injustice has been done. They are people who genuinely believe that that Deontay Rosilis is an innocent man. He wants his friends and family to know he's got this. He wants the jury to know this could not possibly have been me.
I mean, we don't know what to expect. We all just here in support of my brother.
Now the time had come for Rosilis to decide whether he would take the stand in his own defense.
You understand you have a right to testify too. And that's your right, correct? You understand it? Yeah. And is this your decision that you don't want to testify? Yes. All right. Thank you, counsel. You may proceed.
I can't show you a video of the defendant committing this offense because there isn't one. But the science sees him there. And the science sees him committing this murder. DNA is the gold standard, and his DNA is there. The science puts him there. The science puts his hands on a weapon. The science puts his hands on an item that tied Mrs. Sue up. Murder in the second degree would be giving him a huge break. Because what he did fits the definition of murder in the first degree.
Counsel may address the jury.
There's no evidence that he's the person that killed Josu. The way that she was killed, it's not to someone that's unfamiliar to her. It seems like a passionate crime to stab her over 25 times. And everything that you've heard is that Deontay Rosilis had absolutely no idea who Jill Sue was. At best, what proven was that DNA was outside of the home on two items, the knife and the door, and the tied loop. That is not enough to find somebody guilty. The only just verdict in this case is a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
In her rebuttal, prosecutor Maria Schneider used Rosilis' escape attempt as further evidence of his guilt.
For the first 2 years he was in custody, he meticulously planned an escape.
Objection, Judge Baxter,
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are to rely on your own recollection of the evidence.
Because it's really easy to escape from a court, right? Planned an escape. Gets caught, didn't work out for him, 5 days later, gets caught. Escaping shows consciousness of guilt.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my understanding you have reached the verdict, is that correct?
And this time did not take as long.
So this verdict, we the jury find as follows. Deontay Rosilis, in this case, the defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in the indictment.
He's putting on a show. And a very good one. Not even when he's being sentenced and he finally sits down and has a chance to address the judge and the public.
Tell me your true and lawful name.
My true and lawful name is Deontay Rosilis.
And says, just want everybody to know I didn't do this. I didn't commit this crime. I had nothing to do with it.
I would never take a wife from her husband. I would never take a mother from her child. I read every newspaper article that came out. Daily, alleged 25 times Mrs. Sue was stabbed. That's beyond my comprehension. I don't possess the hate, rage inside my heart to commit such a heinous crime. I can't change you guys' perception of feeling towards me. But any day, at any hour, any decade, if it will provide you guys with the solace, they can hook me up to a polygraph test at any given time. Ask me any question they wish, and my answer will remain the same. I did not kill Mr. Sue. And that's all I have to say.
It was smug. It was defiant. It was exactly what the Sue family had come to expect of Deontay Rosiles.
You know what her day job is? Her day job is help people like you. Jill is the kind of person who could have helped you. Instead, you kill her. No, you did not just kill her. No, you didn't. You killed her in cold blood, like a psychopath. After this, today, Deontay Rosiles, I'm gonna erase you from my memory. In my mind, you are persona non grata. You do not exist. And we are going to make sure we live happily the rest of our life while you rot in jail.
There's so many aspects of my life that are just absolutely ruined in ways that I don't know and that I do know because of what you did. Your whole entourage of people that you have, Instagram, Facebook, all this stuff that's attacking me and blaming me, stop it. You literally murdered a mother, and then now you're trying to blame the son for what you did. The only person on the entire planet that knows the last words of my mother, that psychopath right there, and we'll never know what it was. You're gonna be very lonely in a very tiny spot for the rest of your life. And that doesn't make me sleep better at night, but just know that that's a fact. Just like a fact that you murdered my mother, that's a fact that that's what the rest of your life is gonna look like. Thank you.
Mr. Rosiles, the jury having found you guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in the indictment, the court now finds you guilty, adjudicates you guilty, and sentences you to life in prison.
Prosecution decided to take the death penalty off the table, and part of the reason that they did that was that this was not something that Jill Halliburton Sue would have wanted herself. She was not a vindictive person. They don't want to think of themselves as vindictive people. They wanted the kind of closure that comes with knowing that this man will be in prison for the rest of his life.